Secretary Sebelius getting grilled today by the House Energy and Commerce Committee right here in this chair for 3.5 hours. But there are 5 words that she's probably going to regret, she said.
Don't do this to me.
Have you heard it? Here it is again. Listen carefully.
Don't do this to me.
Don't do this to me? Well, regrettably, that's what many Americans are thinking about Obamacare.
You're the architect of the whole program, and you won't go into it with the rest of the American public.
I did not say that, sir. I think it's illegal for me to
If it's not illegal, if it's legal, will you go in?
Affordable coverage.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Don't do this to me.
She today appeared to be unaware that she was eligible for the exchanges.
I apologize. I'm accountable to you for fixing these problems.
The program has crashed and burned at least 3 times, and the user is still having problems. It's been down the whole time you've been testifying. The system is down at this moment.
Hold me accountable for the debacle.
Okay.
I'm responsible.
And I take full responsibility for making sure it gets fixed ASAP.
So you're saying that the president is not responsible for HHS?
Sir, I didn't say that.
Okay, so the president ultimately is responsible. While I think it's great that you're a team player and you're taking responsibility, it is the president's ultimate responsibility, correct?
You clearly, whatever. Yes, he is the president. He is responsible for government programs.
Former Congressman Alan West joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Greta.
Your thoughts about Secretary Sebelius' testimony today?
Well, I think she was in a pretty tough position because there's a lot of things that are seemingly coming apart. It's not just the website, but also a lot of the misunderstandings about people and the policies that they had and where they're getting pushed to. I think she could have done a little bit better job of laying out some of the facts and figures of where they are and her roadmap.
Well, she specifically said that she didn't want to give any information as to where they were, how many enrolled, because she said she doesn't have reliable information at all, and that didn't want to get unreliable as sort of a curiosity.
Yeah,
The president, let me just say, the president said later on today, as pointed out my colleague Jim Ango, is the president said, and more people are successfully buying these new plans online than they were a couple weeks ago. So he apparently has some more reliable information.
And see, again,
she does not.
That's the disconnect. That's the 2 ships that are passing in the middle of the night, which causes people to lose confidence in the administration. I mean, if you have one person that's saying, I don't really want to talk about it, and then you have the president on the same day going up to Boston and saying, you know, we're having great success, and all of these people signing up.
I mean, do you believe he has that information?
I don't think anyone knows what to believe right now.
Well, he said it.
Well, the president also said you could keep your plan, you could keep your doctor, and the Washington Post gave him 4 Pinocchios.
I'm with you on this. I don't know where he got, I was being a little bit flip. I don't know where he got his information because the secretary says she doesn't have it.
See, that's the important thing. You know, if you look at this administration, and the president is the chief executive officer, everyone needs to be on the same sheet of music, and I don't think everyone is on the same sheet of music. I don't think people know where the start point is, the midpoint, or the end point, or the end state, as far as what they need to do in getting this thing turned around so that it can be successful. You know, I know people are out there saying Republicans wanted to fail. Republicans just want to see something that can work in the right direction to help the American people to have affordable health care. And I think right now we are in such a state of confusion that no one really knows what is going on. And that's the problem.
You know what, I was surprised. First of all, I thought that I thought her demeanor was good. I mean, I thought that she answered the questions. I thought it was dreadful that she told the president that all systems were go, and that they didn't, and that it was a disaster. Yeah. I mean, that to me is terrible. You know, so it's stunning that that she gave the green light to.
Well, when you have 3 years to execute something like this, something that is very massive, one of the largest new entitlement programs that the country has seen, you know, you got to do a reverse cycle planning. If you're going to kick this thing off on the 1st of October, you got to back it up a year and a half, and you have to start doing, you know, some incremental steps to make sure that everything's on track. You have to do some rehearsals, do some test runs and test drives. From what I understand, they really didn't start a lot of this process until about 30 to 60 days out.
Well, I was in the room, and I'll tell you, when she was saying that the system was improving, and then flashed up on a big screen for everyone to see was the error message, which said, the system is down at the moment. We're experiencing technical difficulties and hope to have them resolved soon. Please try again later. And this was the same time she said the system's doing better. So it was, as a judge once said about one of my arguments, is that trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
Absolutely, and that erodes your credibility. If you are the person that says I'm responsible, and you're sitting there before the American people, because everyone's watching this, and you're talking about how the website is, you know, doing well, it's a little slow, but then all of a sudden you look up there and you see right now your website is inoperable, and you hear you have these error messages. you know, someone, like I said, is not providing the right type of information.
Okay. Suppose this is December 1st. And we've gone past the witching hour of November 30th. The system is up running, and it's running smoothly, and there are no problems getting on, there are no problems enrolling in programs. Then what?
I think that you let it go. I do believe that at some point in time, if everything is supposed to be fine with this system, the new Obamacare system, we should start looking at getting rid of all these waivers and exemptions that have been granted, because it has to be fair, it has to be equitable to everyone that is out there.
But see, therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Because waivers and exemptions mean people who are not paying into the pot.
Sure.
And it's like the young people who are healthy and invincible who probably aren't going to want to pay into the pot as much as the president might think.
And some of them are still on their parents' insurance.
So then it's like, how does this get financed? If we take people out with waivers, exemptions, and we take into account that I don't think young people are going to go in droves and sign up for something, how do we pay for this?
Well, that's the problem. That is, I believe, the failed economic premise, because you're basing this upon young people that are going to come in and really subsume the cost of the lower income families and individuals, and also the sicker individuals. But then that's where the individual mandate was not delayed, because it really is a revenue stream more than anything else. It really is a tax to make sure that we're still getting something out of you, even if you try to say, I'm healthy, I'm fine, I'm opting out of it. So if you start to see those little chinks in the armor, that can cause this not to be successful in the long run.
Let me mention another pinch on the economic part of it, is that people are going to get subsidies and tax breaks. That's another pinch on the system. I hear Republicans talking all the time about the computer and how bad the computer is and how it's fun. I'm willing to assume that's going to be up and working on November 30th. I have sort of a longer look at this, thinking how we're going to finance it. If we've got waivers, we've got exemptions, we've got subsidies, we've got young people who aren't going to do this. I'm curious really where the money comes.
But see, that's why Harry Reid is already talking about tax increases, because we have to go back to the table come the 15th of January, and then also the 7th of February, dealing with funding the government with the CR, and then also with the debt ceiling. And you hear Harry Reid saying that everyone in the United States of America wants to have tax increases, because this was once $940 billion. That was the price tag. Now the CBO has put it at $1.8 trillion. And based upon what you're saying, with these unknowns out there in the economic world, it can increase to be $2 to $3 trillion maybe.
See, that's the answer I don't have. I'm willing to think that they can figure out the computer system.
That'll be taken care of.
That's just, and I think that's just, I think that's annoying and troubling and turns people upside down for a couple weeks, and it really isn't fair and nice to the American people. But I don't think that's a long-term issue.
No, I mean, think about these millions of Americans that are losing their plans, whatever the president wants to say, they were bad apple plans.
A lot of them were.
No doubt. But the thing is, the Americans had their choice to do it. Now the Americans are going to be forced into these policies that may be, more expensive and may put an economic pinch on them. And if you don't get the right amount of revenue out of them going in and buying the silver, bronze, gold, whatever, if they just decide to pay that tax, then will that tax give you enough revenue?
Congressman, thank you, sir. Nice to see you.
Always a pleasure. And